Alright, so here is a match I'm playing. I'm using Cataprat 1's Hovercraft. If you search for Cataprat 1, Cataprat 1, I'll put it in the video description. If you search for his vehicles in the factory and you select the, I think, only hovercraft he has, uh, you'll be able to tell which one it is because in this video, as you can see, it's very recognizable. I don't think he has any other that look like this. Anyway, you can buy this in the factory, and no, I did not make it. I am not that good at building. Yes, I know how to Triforce. I know about diverting damage from valuable things like movement parts and guns, but I'm just not that good because I don't know where to divert the damage. I mean, you can read guides about Triforcing, but they don't tell you where you want to divert the damage to. They tell you where you want to divert the damage away from, but they don't tell you where to divert it to. I mean, I assume you want to divert damage using Triforcing in a perpendicular direction from where the damage is coming from. So, for example, if you're shot from the front, I assume you want the damage to stay in the front, so you would want it if you're looking at the video right now, you'd want it to stay in the nose area. If damage was coming at me head on, you'd want it to propagate, like, for example, to my left and right, not straight towards the back of my vehicle. And if I was shot from the side, I would want the damage to go up and down the sides of my vehicle rather than coring straight into it, right? So, I mean, that's about as much as I know about not Triforcing, but where to Triforce the damage to. And I also don't disagree with a lot of the movement, a lot of the armor types in this vehicle. In this vehicle, I see the smallest, tiniest, spikiest little piece of armor where it has, I believe, like 995 armor points. So per CPU, a regular armor block has 2100 armor points or health points, basically, per single CPU. And if you use, for example, like a rounded edge, you can Triforce with those, I believe, and they give you like 1977 if I recall CPU. So you're only losing 123 armor points, but you get to Triforce. So, I think the rounded armor blocks are the best armor blocks for Triforcing, but for some reason, it seems like Cataprat doesn't like to use them for his Triforcing. Although I've seen on some of his vehicles, he's got some of the Triforcing going on with the rounded block types. Oh, there's no doubt about it that on the exterior of the vehicle, the slanted blocks, the prisms as they're called, they definitely look the coolest. I totally agree. And on the vehicle I'm playing right now, you can see there are a lot of prisms going on. Now, I figure these prisms could be replaced with the rounded block types, and if I recall, prisms have like 1500 armor points, maybe? I'm not quite sure. Whereas the rounded ones have like 1900, so I could gain 400 armor points per block just by changing from prisms to the rounded edges. However, I'm just going to assume the Cataprat knows what he's doing, and he used these prisms rather than the rounded armor blocks because of the weight. I am playing a hovercraft after all, and weight matters, believe it or not. So I can't remember, but I think I died twice in this match, and this is my first death. I've recorded quite a few matches by now, and I've chosen this one because it's probably one of the best matches that I actually remember to hit the record key for. Yeah, I was in a team deathmatch game with the leader of my clan. Not that I'm very active in the clan, but whoop-de-doo. And I got like 13 kills or something out of like the 25 it takes to win, which was pretty cool. Like, I really wish I had that match on record. But honestly, who wants to watch me pub stomp a bunch of noobs? At least when I'm playing in normal mode, I'm matched against people with a similar MMR. Man, this guy almost beat me. Look at my ship. By the way, you can really tell Cataprat's skill in building. You look, and you can see that even though the front of my ship got demolished, you can see those rods still there, holding the weapons up. This is something I think a lot of amateur players. I don't want to say pro because I don't think anyone gets paid to play this game. I don't like it when people call themselves pro gamers. That just sounds stupid to me. But expert more like. I don't think a lot of players would realize that the two front guns, the top side guns on the front of the ship, they're not actually attached to the blocks up there. They're attached to those rods. And I think, yeah, I asked the guy who made this ship, about it. He said that it was an artistic ship. He made it for the art looks. And I thought, what are you talking about, dude? I'm beating a lot of people with this ship. I'm getting top score in a lot of games, and you're telling me the guy who made it. The guy who made it said to me, he doesn't think this is a competitive ship. This is an art bot. Are you kidding me? Well, honestly, I mean, my ego took a hit, but come on, my ego deserves to take a lot of hits. I'm not very good at this game. Anyway, art bot or not, it's better than most of the bots I go against, and most of the bots I've flown, so that's why I'm making a video about it. And yeah, it does look pretty darn cool, especially with those rods on the side. I remember, they told us, my teammates said we should just ignore the crystal. The reason I'm in here is because I thought, hey, if they're all targeting the crystal, I can get some damage in on these guys, maybe get a kill or two. And even though people respawn with just, in just 15 seconds, hey, that's 15 seconds of the team having a guy down, which means my team is going to be more effective grabbing objectives, and well, that's all you can do really is grab objectives. But if I can kill a guy, like I don't care if I defend the crystal or not. If I can kill a guy, that makes it easier for my team to grab objectives, like I said. Yep. So SMGs are definitely my favorite weapon. But they're not very satisfying to use. I often get kills taken away from me by someone with their nice volley of splash damage plasmas. And as you can see in this video, I'm having a hard time landing most of my hits on this aircraft. And he's not even a super competitive aircraft. He's not a drone or anything. But I've found that even though it seems like I don't do very much damage when I use SMGs, that perseverance is the key. If I keep firing at someone, keep the trigger down, keep the cursor on their bot, usually they're going to die before me, as you'll see in this match. So even though I have very low alpha strike, I don't have the alpha strike volley potential of a set of plasmas, I win almost every confrontation because slow and steady wins the race, I guess. This guy that I'm firing at, his vehicle, I don't get his vehicle. He covered it in armor plates. Like, not armor plates, I mean electroplates. But every time I went up against him, he went down pretty quick. So I don't really think electroplates are that good. I think they're good in certain situations. You can actually divide the amount of shield they give you by the CPU, and the lowest electroplate, the ones that look like squares almost, the smallest ones, I believe they cost something like 22 CPUs. So you could have 22 armor blocks on your vehicle for just a single one of those electroplates. Now, if you think about the amount of area that those electroplates take up, you're not going to be able to fit 22 armor blocks where you can fit one of those tiny electroplates. And if my numbers probably aren't correct here, but I think the smallest electroplates, they are really efficient, almost as efficient as a square armor block, if not as efficient. But I think the disadvantage to those small electroplates, and really the disadvantage to just about every block in this game, is that no matter how tough a block is, if you destroy the block connecting it to the rest of your robot, then there goes your super strong block. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, that you have an electroplate that can absorb 100 shots from some kind of gun. Alright, well, that's all well and good if your opponent is actually firing at the electroplate. Then it will actually absorb the shots, good for you. But I think what happens in the reality, in the majority of situations, is it's not the electroplate itself that gets shot, it's some other part of your bot that gets shot. After all, the electroplate's only so big, the rest of your bot is much bigger, and what if the opponent is firing at your bot from a direction that your electroplate's not facing? Well, anyways, in these situations what happens is other blocks absorb the damage, and so I read from some guide somewhere that if there is a block connected to an electroplate, then when it takes damage, damage will go through that block like water through a pipe or electricity through a wire into the electroplate. But now let's remember this electroplate could theoretically absorb 100 shots. Let's say only enough damage leaks through the block connecting the electroplate to your bot. Let's say only enough damage leaks through, like maybe 10 shots worth. Well, hey, your electroplate will absorb those 10 shots, but then the other 90 shots that you're paying for, in terms of CPU, those get wasted because the electroplate will pop off of your bot and be destroyed. Now, if you'd used armor blocks, every single one of those armor blocks has to be destroyed. I mean, yes, armor blocks can also become detached from your bot, but it's less likely because the armor blocks are going to be more spread out and they're going to have more connection points. It's going to be a lot harder to chop off a big segment of armor blocks from a bot than it is to remove an electroplate from the bot by destroying the single block that the electroplate is connected to. Now, if you think I'm stupid for talking or dissing electroplates, please notice that a lot of the hovering bots with the cannons don't have any electroplates. That's because the really good builders who made them probably realized electroplates weren't the right tool to use. If you want to tank a lot of damage, electroplates aren't probably the answer. It's just lots of armor and those what are they called? Struts. And by the way, struts. I hear everyone on the forums saying struts are so good. If you do the math in terms of health points per CPU, they're just barely a little worse than square blocks, which is honestly great because you don't want to use square blocks all the time. Very often you want to use other kinds of blocks for triforcing or weight reasons. So in terms of health per CPU, struts are alright. They're pretty good. But they really shine, I suppose, in terms of weight. They weigh like 3 or 9 times less than the amount of blocks you would have used, right? And they make really good connectors if you want to connect weapons. In fact, you can see the gun on the left of my ship right now is connected by a strut. So, I mean, they have their uses. They definitely have their uses, but I think they also have their weaknesses, just like electroplates. If the blocks connecting the strut to the vehicle are shot off, there goes your strut, including the health that the enemy didn't damage. Right? Ideally, if you have 1,000,000 health points, you want your opponent to have to do 1,000,000 damage to you to kill you. Right? If you have 1,000,000 health points and your opponent only has to do 500,000 damage to you, well then, hey, your bot's split in half or something, right? You didn't get the full worth of your health points, right? In my opinion, that's pretty inefficient. And so anyways, blah, blah, blah. One of the main reasons why I'm using this bot is because it only has like 2 electroplates on the front. And those electroplates are in a very good spot. That's a direction, especially with camera controls, this bot will always face the direction that if I'm looking at an opponent, they're going to be firing at me. I'm going to be facing straight at them. So the 2 electroplates at the front are good for that. Yeah, I think. Oh, here's the situations where I think electroplates should be used. So 1, they should be used to guard important points like guns, right? So putting an electroplate in front of a gun, like right below a gun, is great. Like some of the electroplates on this guy. When I was trying to fire at his guns just now, I hit a lot of his electroplates. That really slowed me down. If they were blocks, I would have torn them off and the gun would have popped off, right? Then the other advantage of electroplates is that they weigh a lot less than all the blocks. If you used the same amount of blocks as the CPU of an electroplate, you would use far more weight than the electroplate itself. So if you're trying to make a lightweight vehicle, aka not a ground vehicle, yeah, electroplates are your thing. Wow, hey, I really talked my way through that whole video. Well, if you were watching, you probably noticed me destroy some shotgun players. I think SMGs are great for destroying those little shotgun players because you can really just aim right in on their shotguns and take them out while going in reverse. Yeah. So, yep, I got top score of that match. I was pretty proud of myself. Obviously, I'm making a video out of it. And, time to open some chests. I don't think I got any epics. I really don't like how they ripped off of World of Warcraft with their naming and color scheme. But, I guess it's allowed. Boo. Desirable. And I'm still in gold.